You may be having performance issues, Conall.
Eh?
You having performance issues?
Yeah. Classic. Can I have my coffee? I need it.
You know,
Genuinely
one
need
in
it.
5 men.
I'm so excited. How's work?
What? How's work?
How's work? Any dogs pee in the store?
No, well, the system was messed up, so I didn't give as many orders as usual, so I couldn't just hide in the back all day.
Oh.
So I had to actually go out and serve people. I'm like, fuck. So that was great.
I went shopping
Such
today.
a hard life.
It really is.
Shopping.
Yeah, I went to Dotty. And I got a really nice blazer for $30. And it's like a champagne color, like full shoulder pads, like perfect. Comes down to about there, sort of thing. Like real pockets too.
Nice.
And it was $30 down from 50, and I was like,
Damn,
bro. And then I got a play suit that came down to 24 from 40. And I was like, bro, because that's like, I can't wear play suits that often because I've got a really long torso. So they're either like, way up here or way down here, and I'm just like, bruh, no. But it's like a really nice, it's like a button up, kind of like if you think of like, it's black, but like a khaki like work shirt, if that makes sense. So it's got like the collar and like the folded up sleeves. It's like one of those style things, but it's black and it's also got pockets.
Nice.
It's great.
I got a bomber jacket the other day down from 80 to like 24.
Bro, that's a good sale. Like,
That's a good sale.
even if you're just deliberating it, you're like, I don't know. And it's like, oh, it's down from this? Yes.
Yep. I was like, holy shit.
Absolutely.
So now I have a bomber jacket. Maybe I'll wear it today.
Nice.
Yeah.
I finally received my pirate outfit. Yeah, which
You
segues
ordered?
nicely into today's topic. Welcome to the ZeroFunction Podcast.
Yeah.
The audio extravaganza where no brain cells are present. I'm your host for this week, Lee. I'm here with Jen and Conall. And yeah, we're going to be talking about pirates, baby.
Pirates, yar.
Yeah, so before we get into it, tell us about your pirate outfit because I'm very intrigued.
Medieval Collectibles. It's a company. What?
Have you had you already ordered it from last week, or?
I ordered it probably Sunday. So about 6 days ago, and it arrived yesterday.
Damn.
I should probably
From
go
the
there. I
States.
need a pirate outfit. So.
From the States.
Oh, really?
Shout out to Medieval Collectibles and UPS.
I'm
'cause
making mine.
Damn.
that shipping time. Holy shit, that was amazing.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, I don't
The
think you had
US.
bought anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The COVID shit. My God.
Fairly pricey, but really good quality stuff.
Yeah, for 5 day shipping, like I'll pay it.
Yeah.
I feel like I should just have a pirate outfit now.
Yeah, I'm making mine.
How much was it?
Several $100s. Yeah. So
Yeah, but what did you get though?
You
I
get the
got-
whole shebang, I'm assuming.
yes, I got some like sailor's pants, like black with the buttons down the fly and like
Ooh.
nice, like very nice. A really like thick canvasy like medieval style shirt with the like proper ties on the
Drawstrings, sort of.
collar. Yeah, it's super puffy sleeves. Like this thing is massive, but it actually looks fine like with the rest of the costume on.
Yeah.
Some synthetic leather boots, which are about half a size too small. I'm debating whether to go back and get the size up. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah,
'cause-
12 hours.
Yeah,
You're going to be
not
walking around.
not great. I think
Well,
I might.
You could just buy some shoe stretchers.
Yeah, I don't know how the material will.
Oh, because it's synthetic
work.
leather.
Yeah.
I was about to say real leather you can stretch quite easily, but I've seen someone iron real leather, like not just like straight like iron on shoe, but like
steam it.
yeah,
Yeah, that would probably work.
they
yeah.
like shoved. It was either newspaper or some sort of like stiff thing inside the shoe, and then they put like a cloth over it, and they just like kept steaming it and like slow
Yeah.
and like pushing
Well,
and
that's,
stretching, and I was like,
That's how they reshape hats. So
oh really?
yeah, like proper felt hats.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that would probably work. But yeah, synthetic
I'm
leather. So
Yeah, it would probably just break apart, wouldn't it?
yeah, I might just go back and get a size up,
Yeah.
maybe in a different style because I want I want the big pirate boots, you know. And these ones are kind of subdued.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And I also got a fairly like kind of cheap sash, which isn't quite as big as I wanted. Like I can't wrap it around twice.
Oh yeah.
With it, yeah, it's like it it works for what I want, but I might get a proper one.
I'll just find some
also,
leggings, or something.
Some leggings? What are you going to be, a court jester?
Yeah, you just double fold them and then whoop. Easy.
Jesus. Also a bandana and a big old belt. So.
Oh, nice.
belt.
See, I just bought some, not muslin fabric, but cotton fabric. I'm going to make my own pirate shirt because apparently I'm extra.
Nice.
I'm gonna find whatever I can find.
I might make my own skirt. I don't know, because I want to have like pretty much like 2 full circles of like fabric and then put it into one skirt because I want that like flowy shit. I want the shit to like move as I walk. But
Nice.
and like buying one, very expensive. Making one, still expensive, but a lot more effort. So,
you gonna go for like a ruffled like Mexican pirate look? Yeah. Oh yeah.
and then I want one of those like sashes as well. But I want like an authentic like leather pirate hat.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna have my black
Seems like it'd be
corset
pretty
as
hard
well.
to find.
I think no, you can get like
really?
no, Etsy.
Etsy.
That's actually a very good idea.
Yes, I actually did have a look. I think I'm gonna upgrade to a hat and coat next year.
Yeah.
Like just go with the bandana for now. But yeah, I did have a look on Etsy for pirate hats. There are some really nice pirate hats. On
Yeah,
Etsy.
because I'm gonna have my corset and then like a big flowy skirt like that. I was like a pirate hat would be not like if I'm
Ooh,
gonna
like
spend.
a Barbosa style hat.
Yeah.
like the wide brim and like one side up and fit. Yeah.
I was like, if I'm gonna buy something that's expensive, it's gonna be that hat.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with
fitting.
a classic like tricorner.
Yeah.
Tricorn style.
Yeah.
You can't go
Yeah.
wrong.
But next
Spin
year.
the stupid
Next year.
long boys. you know? Or just like the round like that.
Oh, the bike one.
Yeah.
Those are a bit goofy and more like navy style.
I was about to say that
pirate
gives me
style.
more like British soldier vibes. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
and that's probably a whole.
it's a
pop
vibe. It's just
culture
not the
thing.
right vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, to
I
be
think-
fair, I guess they were still kind of pirates.
Yeah, the bandana that I got ended up being like a cheapo like licensed Jack Sparrow bandana,
yeah.
which is like what it said on the site, and it works. But there's a New Zealand site called Magnolia Clothiers, and they do not licensed, but very very close replicas of a lot of pop culture clothing.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of jackets. They've done a whole series on James Bond ties, like from the Craig movies and like the classic Connery films, like
Okay.
ties with the legit patterns from the movies.
Right.
Oh.
They've done suits, like Bond suits. They have a really nice Blade Runner 2049 coat that I really want, but it's like $1,000 and I can't justify that.
Yeah.
No.
That's the thing.
and-
I feel like even if I somehow win the lottery and get like super rich or whatever, I'm still gonna see something that's that price and just be like, because I was watching a video the other day
Yeah.
and they had like $1,000 and they had an hour to spend it, and one of them couldn't find anything, so they just went to Louis Vuitton and they bought a dressing gown, and it was $1,000 dressing gown,
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
and I was like, how can you justify just dropping $1,000
What?
on a dressing gown?
Well, I
Jesus
did
Christ.
a Matt Murdock cosplay a few years ago, and the glasses I got from Magnolia, they were like, I want to say like $80 or something.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like
God.
the proper round red lensed glasses. They were like really nice quality. I don't actually know where they
Yeah,
are now.
those
I
are
have to
some
go
very-
looking for them. But yeah, Magnolia Clothiers, New Zealand company, super like high quality,
I need
nice.
to like put this down in my
reproductions.
notes so I can actually like find, so I don't look like the shitter of the group. Honestly, because I know I will. This is Magnolia.
Like just in
Yeah,
general.
we're gonna
or-
all look like hella authentic. He shows
Yeah.
up in like just some sort of t-shirt or something.
Oh yeah. I mean,
like a,
Dad's got that pirate shirt somewhere.
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Ish.
just like a
yeah.
Party City costume.
Yeah.
What was that medieval
With
one
the
you said?
plastic sword.
Yeah. Medieval collectibles.
Bro, I'll just bring my
Credit card? Yeah,
no,
maybe.
I'll just bring my elven one. It looks almost
Oh my god.
piratish. No.
I don't think you'd be allowed to carry that.
I would not be allowed.
No.
That thing looks like it could do a lot of damage.
It is very
Yeah.
pretty though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gorgeous. That's Arwen's sword from Lord of the Rings, in case anyone was wondering. It's very nice.
I would pull it down and show off, but I'm too lazy. It's still right above my monitor, so no, let's not do that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
pirates.
Yeah, pirates. So,
Arg. Sea shanties?
hey,
Sea shanties?
sea shanties.
Yes.
I mean, do we want to like?
Soon may
No, let's not. Not right now.
I mean, do we want to like put together a list of shanties to learn for Pirate Day, or do we just want to wing it?
Wing it, but read up on your.
Yeah. So
I have a
research,
playlist
but
that's got some decent ones, but yeah.
Like I think for a lot of them, we should at least learn the choruses, and then some of us can learn the verses.
I will definitely be the chorus. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I'm
because
so
then you
bad
can have
at
that like
obviously.
you can have that like lead singer, and then you come in the chorus, and everyone's like, "Woo!"
Okay. Well, that's usually how it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love shanties. Like ever since Black Flag came out.
Since what now came out?
Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
Black
I
Flag?
thought you said
Yeah.
Black League,
The
and I was
pirate
like,
one?
"What is that?" Like,
No, there's like a there's a mechanic in the game where like obviously you spend a lot of it on your ship, and when you when you make port on land, there's shanty pages like just out in the world that you have to chase down, and when you catch one, it adds a new shanty to your playlist that your
that's
crew
cool.
will sing while you're sailing. Yeah, it's
could you
really
imagine
cool.
if you only had 2 in your playlist, and you're just like, "Please,
I think you start out.
shut up."
I think you start out with like 10, and then
okay.
there's
Do a
another.
fair few, yeah.
There's another like
I mean, the bangers
20 or
are in
30.
there anyway, so.
There's another like 25 or 30 pages that you can collect. So you end up with a playlist of like 40 shanties or something.
Yeah.
And
Quite a
that's where a lot of people learn shanties, including me. And
Yeah.
then a couple of years ago, was it 2020 that the shanties started being like super big on TikTok?
Must have been last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
so-
Wellerman.
Yeah, so they had a
especially.
big resurgence then.
Which was
And
great.
it was, and a lot of us Assassin's Creed fans were like, yes, people are
We
learning
liked it
shanties
before
now.
it was
It's great.
cool.
I mean, shanties have been around for
Yeah.
ages. We,
Yeah.
we were.
See,
Yes.
but that's the thing with like either nerds, geeks, whatever you want to like call them. When the mainstream come over to us, like we're like, yes, you think it's cool, but when it's vice versa, they're like, we liked it already. Like the hipsters being like, we already liked
I've
it.
definitely been guilty of that in the past.
Mm.
I think it's okay to be like that as long as you're not gatekeeping.
Yeah,
you know?
true.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, you're just an ass at that point.
yeah. Like it's
You're like, bruh.
Like it's okay to
I do that
be-
with like
be the-
songs sometimes. Like
Be
when,
a little bit
when I
like,
like
yeah,
sing songs.
that's
yeah.
right. I was fucking first, bitch.
Yeah, like
You know?
it's okay to be the person who was into something before everyone else, as long as you're not a dick about it.
Yeah.
I think.
Fair.
Yeah.
You were about to say something?
You both looked at me just like
Because
went
you started
silent.
saying something and then
I- no.
cut you off. No?
Well, I don't like. I don't tend to look at Conall a lot, just
Yeah.
because you're like right across from me.
I'm in a very awkward
Right.
spot, let's be honest.
Wait, and
We're like, I'm trying to like keep myself angled towards the camera, and it's a lot less effort to like look at you than it is to turn to look at him.
Like,
Yeah.
Just look
and that's the
directly
thing, like-
at you menacingly.
when
Yeah.
someone's talking, you give them eye contact, but because it's Conall, right? If he's talking, I can look at it and then I can kind of look away and it's okay. When it's you, I feel like if I look away, it's like,
Bro, I'm right here,
Yeah.
just like,
yeah.
that's the thing. If he's talking and I look at you, you're obviously looking his way too. And if we just make eye contact, it's like,
it's like, hey,
yeah, cool.
Yeah, he's
Great.
just exercising his neck muscles over there.
Yeah.
Jesus.
you know.
Oh, boy.
But see, even
That's
when you're
spicy.
talking, you don't often look at either one of us. You'll just like, you'll talk, you glance, and then you just look forward
I
'cause
kind
you
of
can.
I end up looking at the screen quite often.
Yeah.
Just because I got nothing else to look at. I'm like thinking, like,
Yeah, and like because you're sitting forward, just like forward is just a natural progression. So we end up like staring at each other a lot. And sometimes I have this really awful thing. Like when people are talking, they will look around and think, I dead stare, man. Like I don't mean to, but because someone's talking, I want to show that I'm giving them their full attention.
Yeah.
And I will just look at them and I'm like, when do I look away? So I have to make like a conscious effort to like look away, and so they're not like uncomfortable.
I'm-
Otherwise I
do,
will
I do
just
that
like
when I'm drunk because when I'm drunk, I need focus. So I'm just like I'm lasered onto this person.
yeah.
Like you have my full attention because my attention cannot be elsewhere.
See, I'm the opposite. I find eye contact really awkward.
Yeah.
Like I have to force myself to look at people when they're speaking.
That's the thing.
I
I
think
feel
it
like most
depends.
people do, whereas I don't know. It's just weird. That I have to like force myself to look elsewhere.
I'm definitely a lot better with it. Eye contact. I used to be so bad.
I feel like I can look away when I'm talking, but if someone else is talking, I'm like, I am listening to you. Like,
But yeah, under normal circumstances, I don't like eye contact. But then, yeah, when I get sufficiently drunk, it's like, okay, you are talking. I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
I am like staring
I'm
into your
in
soul.
your world. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how I am when I'm drunk. I feel like I'm just pretty
You
like...
don't get drunk.
No.
Really. No. I think you should get drunk.
I don't know if I trust anyone.
Well, because we've
What do
got
you mean? What would I do to you?
Nothing. That's the point. You would leave me.
Oh, that's...
Jesus.
You would be like,
That's
someone would be
fair.
like, "Where's Jen?" You'd be like, "I don't fucking know. She's her own person. She'll be right."
Sent to the shadow realm.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then it'll be the next morning. You're like, oh, you probably wouldn't even think about it. You'd probably be like, "Cool," and I'd like call you from like a ditch somewhere, and you're like, "Oh, I thought you
Oh,
got
yeah.
home."
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, shit, sorry.
You sound like a friend of mine. Like last time we went into town, we just lost him, and turned out he just got a taxi home on his own, but had like not said anything to anyone. But
It's
yeah,
like,
it's
I'm
mildly
here now.
concerning.
Yeah.
But then we're kind of used to it,
Yeah.
by now. It's like,
See, I'm such a mum. I look after everyone, and that's because like I look after myself, and then I see someone who can't look after themselves, and I was like, oh, I will be that like person for you. And so getting drunk, I'm just like, if I can't look after myself, like I'm a liability, and I don't want to be the liability.
Yeah, one of my mates is a junior doctor, and he's definitely the mum of the group. Another one
It's
is
like
a
herding
nurse.
cats, though. You're like, come, yep,
Yeah.
everyone we came with is who we're leaving with.
Yeah, another of my friends is a nurse, and he's also kind of the mum when Mr. Doctor is not around. But yeah, and and there's this other friend who tends to. Well, he's the one who got the taxi home. Not amazing at holding his liquor, and often is helped by both of them.
Yeah.
By the end of the night, yeah, it's a real interesting dynamic that we have going on.
We
Yeah.
love that though. There always has to be one.
But we've got Crate Day and Pirate Day 2 weekends in a row, which is going to be interesting.
What day are those?
I think
Pirate Day is
What is-
like
the
11th
11th?
December, with the second Saturday.
and
Crate
Crate
will
Day
be
is the first.
Oh, okay, that's
So-
perfect.
I know I'm
Crate Day
won't be here.
Crate Day will be the
Fourth?
fourth.
For Crate Day, I'm
Okay.
going down to Wellington.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, Crate Day will be the
so-
4th, and Pirate Day will be the 11th.
Oh, okay.
I think-
No, see, I'm going away on the 20th, so I was like, please
Mm.
don't be the 20th. That's the same weekend Armageddon got moved to. I'm so sad.
Ugh.
Armageddon got moved
Oh,
to the
see,
20th.
I'm working that Saturday, so
Yeah.
ugh. But yeah,
Right.
rough.
but no, Jen and I will be doing both of those days. So
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how well I'm gonna do Crate Day. Like,
I've never done Crate Day.
Just get the box,
Or
right,
Pirate Day.
get the crate,
Get
get
the
the
crate.
crate of beer. Even if you hate beer, well, if you hate beer, you can do RTDs.
Yeah.
But that's-
Add
yeah.
24 bottles.
I'm not gonna lie, I
Generally,
will probably do that.
depending how much of like a standard the drink is that you get.
Yeah.
You have to kind of like.
I'm not a big
balance it.
fan of beer. I
Are
might
we-
do
are we-
ciders.
You won't make it through all of them though. I can tell you
Well,
that.
yeah.
The most I've done is 7 out of the 12.
Well, yeah, there's still like half a crate
Um,
sitting downstairs from last year.
Yeah.
Your crate.
Yeah. I kind of just left it there.
Mm.
No, it is very hard to get through the full crate. And then, like, you've also got, if you're at, like, a Crate Day party or whatever, obviously, you know, there's, like,
Shots.
beer pong,
Yeah.
and there's, like, other stuff. There's games and whatnot. So, depending
And
how,
let me
like...
guess, you don't use your crate for the beer pong
No, why would I do that?
because that helps you get through it.
Wait, no, I do. No, I do.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
Sorry,
okay.
my brain broke by what you asked me. Yes,
Well, because
yes, I do.
you have to average one crate bottle every hour, right?
Yeah.
Because it's 12 hours.
Crate ball an hour.
When does it start? Is it 8 or 10?
That's 12.
It's 12.
12 to 12.
You start at 12.
You start at 12 to 12.
That's real late.
It is.
I'd
I mean,
start
it
at
is.
10.
I mean, in terms of drinking, I suppose it's not late, but like for a 12-hour thing, it feels late.
I know, I'd go 10 to 10, to be fair.
Well, because the Rock is like the official Crate Day
Yes.
yeah. radio station,
Mhm.
so they kind of set the rules.
Yeah,
They have the Ten
it's-
Commandments.
It's pretty much always
Right.
been 12 to 12, I think. Majority of the time.
I'll have to.
I've
I'll have
never
to
heard
make sure.
anybody
I feel
say
like I'd
earlier
get
than 12.
tired. Like, if I start at 10, at least I know that's what I'm doing with my day.
10 makes a lot more sense than 12.
Yeah.
You kind of like, you pace yourself, you chill out, you know? It's not supposed to be
But
some,
like 12,
intense
it's not
thing.
early enough where you're like, this is what I'm doing with my day. But then it's also not late enough to like do other things, you know? Like, I feel like I'd be so
Well, you're not supposed
lazy
to
in the
do other
morning.
things. It's supposed
Well,
to. That's
yeah.
supposed to be your day.
Yeah, I feel 10 to 10 makes more sense because then, I mean, you've still like, you could still continue drinking.
It's like having
from
a
then
really
or-
long barbecue with a lot of liquor. That's what it is, pretty much. Because generally
Right.
there is a
Just-
barbecue involved.
Yeah, just make sure
That just
that
reminds me of
whoever's doing the barbecue
Levy's
isn't
birthday.
drinking.
Mm.
Levy's
Exactly that.
birthday, we got there at 11:30 or something because we were helping him set up. But obviously we started drinking when we got there, and then got to like 9. And most of the people only showed up at like, they were meant to show up at 2, but they only showed up at like 3:30, 4-ish. And so it got to 9, and me and my partner at the time were like, we kind of want to go home now. Yeah, and we were like, because we were done, we were out of it. We're like, look, I want to go. Well, he was drinking a lot less than I was.
No.
I was like, I'm tired. I don't like. We've been here since 11:30. I'm ready to go home. And then they were like, we're gonna go to town. And I was like, we're going home. Yeah. I'm sorry to be the unfun one, but we've been here for so long.
You definitely do get tired by the end of crate day. I mean.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah.
I was looking forward to going to town so bad. And I was
generally
just like,
hit like 10 or 11 for me, and I'm like,
I'm gonna head out.
Do we have anyone else who's doing it with us, or?
I have no friends and
just don't know people.
Yeah, I've got no friends here. See, that's the thing. If I was doing it with like a group of people, I'd either be in Auckland or Christchurch. But
I could probably send out a call
Swindle your friends.
in my group chat, see who's in town. I have a few people in town who could do it.
Generally, you want to find somewhere good. Like, here's good, but the barbecue doesn't work.
We've got my charcoal grill.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, inferior.
You guys have fun with that.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to Wellington, apparently. I'm going to fucking die in Wellington.
Probably.
Yeah.
I've never been to Wellington. I have to drive to Wellington.
Really? Wellington's great.
Wait, no.
You've never done a trip?
Sorry, no, I've been to Wellington. I've never driven myself to Wellington.
I was about to say,
it's
you're
not
doing a
that bad.
5-hour trip. The longest trip you've ever done is an hour.
Yes.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Just
I'll probably take somebody with me though.
Livy lives in Wellington now.
Don't try driving the wrong way down a bus only street. It doesn't work out well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually,
no.
Wellington. I hate driving in Wellington City.
I don't have to go into the city though, fortunately.
Oh, okay.
I'm only going to Tawa, which is like right next to Porirua.
Wellington City. Not last year, but the year before's New Year's. I spent New Year's in Wellington, and I was with Livy, and we were driving. Everything was great. And then we hit the city, and we were like, where the fuck are we going? All the hills and, like, so skinny streets.
Like,
yeah, and we're like, where? And the GPS was, like, freaking out, and we were just like, bruh, please just get me to the hotel.
I have a little bit of idea. There's a route that I know to kind of, like, get through the city, like, airport direction, but other than that, I'm fucked. Maybe I could go up into, what is it?
I GPS everywhere. Even if I, like, kind of know where it is, I GPS everywhere.
Those bigger cities, you definitely need a GPS.
I've been
or at
there
least
a
good navigator.
few times, enough that I've got a grasp on what it kind of looks like, because obviously we've had to move Callan like out of his flats and shit. Oh my god. The nightmares. It scares me to go into Wellington with Mother.
No. Yeah.
It's
the
a
rage.
nightmare. You didn't have to do that.
No.
You are so fucking lucky. Holy shit. Because it's
With her driving, I assume.
her driving. And Callan is the antagonist of the story. It's not good.
Yeah.
But my navigation skills are so shit. So, like, also, Livy's my brother for all intents and purposes, for everyone wondering who I'm talking about. So, he lives in Palmy, right, which is 3 hours away.
Right.
Every single time I go to his, I use a GPS. Like, I pretty much know the way by now, but I just have it there as, like, a backup. He drove to mine once when he was, I'm going to say 16? 17?
Okay.
No, 17. I'll say 17. Came to mine once. Then he drove all the way up for my next birthday just because he remembered whereabouts my house was. And so, same with my old partner. So he came up for my birthday with my brother. Just that one trip. That was the only time he'd ever been to New Plymouth.
Jesus.
Came down, and then he came back to visit me. And I forgot to message him what my address was. But then he showed up, and I was like, how did you get here? And he was like, oh, I just kind of remembered the street.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Sorry, what?
I could probably... I'm pretty good. If I've been somewhere once, I could probably figure out how to get there. Like,
Nah.
I could probably figure out how to get to Callan's old flat in Wellington if I wanted to, which is like up in the hills.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it'd be that
couldn't do
hard.
See, that's the thing. I could get to the city, but once I'm there, I'm like, bro, I don't know. It all looks the same. Like I said, even driving through Palmy, sometimes I'm like, is it the street? I think so, maybe.
Wellington is a nice walking city, I find. Yeah.
There's a lot of hills. To be fair,
Well,
no.
like
The lower
inner
bit.
city, like
Yeah,
like
not
getting
the
into like
fucking hills,
Cuba
screw
kind
that.
of area. You know?
Yeah, to be fair, that's kind of where I was around for New Year's because we went out to dinner first. That was actually quite nice.
Yeah.
Kind of around the harbour, ?
Getting towards that area,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was quite nice. Anyway, pirates. We've
Yeah,
segued for.
speaking of harbours, should we get on to
Pirates.
Yes.
should we actually get on to pirates? Yes.
I guess, yeah.
All right. So I'm not really going to be touching on
I choked on my coffee.
I'm not really going to be touching on Caribbean pirates that much.
Do you say Caribbean or Caribbean?
Interchangeably.
Gotta be on.
Either or
Don't know
depends.
what that was.
Depends on the mood.
It took me an insane amount of time to figure out that they were the same word. I'm not
Really?
gonna lie. Yeah.
Huh.
Because when people say Caribbean, they say it like really like Caribbean, but then there's like
Oh, yeah.
Caribbean, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. No, I'd always heard it pronounced Caribbean, and then the first time I heard it pronounced Caribbean was in what was that parody movie that came out? Oh boy, like mid-2000s. Epic movie. That's right.
Epic movie.
They had that Pirates of the Caribbean section, and they sang that song where they pronounced it Caribbean, and I was like, that's a weird way to pronounce it, but apparently that's pretty common.
I think I've heard it mostly as Caribbean.
See, I assumed it was like, you know how some places have like, it's like the name, but then they've got like a smaller place inside the city or whatever with a similar name. I thought it was something like that. I was like, so the Caribbean must be like in or within the Caribbean or something, like it must be like a smaller part, whatever.
Fair enough.
And then, no, it's just different pronunciations. And I
Yeah,
was like,
no, I kind of just use them interchangeably depending on the mood.
yeah, the mood.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah. So this is really going to be just kind of going over the history of piracy throughout the world, mostly focusing on Western piracy. Just because I don't know that much about Eastern piracy, so you're like,
It's a thing. Probably Japan.
Piracy just reminds me of that, like, you know, like the old school DVDs, and it was like, this is a crime.
You wouldn't steal a car or something. I remember the exact tune in my head.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh boy. So going like way back, piracy is so old. Like for as long as people have been navigating bodies of water, there have been pirates. So the oldest written record of piracy dates back to roughly the 14th century BC.
Jesus.
Yeah, so we're going back like what, 3,500 years?
How far BC does the Earth go?
Well,
Millions?
you only have to go back about 2,000 years to get to like BC kind of areas. Eras.
The Earth itself is like millions, but
The Earth is about
do you mean like humans?
5 billion years old, I think.
Really?
Yeah, but like a lot of that is like developing into an actual ecosystem that can sustain life.
Okay, so first sign of life is in we'll say humans. Sure.
Hundreds of millions of years ago into life itself. Because dinosaurs, you're looking at going back about 300 million years.
Yeah.
And then you get to the Chicxulub extinction event.
That's so weird that we're still digging up like dinosaur bones and things like that, and they're like millions of years old.
Yeah, hundreds of millions of years old. Yeah, it's nuts. And then earliest evidence of humans, you're going back about
Like
20 to 25,000 years.
I thought it was
BC.
I thought it was more than that.
No, because the first records of
Are we talking about this Homo sapien?
Homo sapiens, you're looking at about 10,000 BC,
Before that was like
roughly. We're talking about
Homo
We've advanced a
Australopithecus?
lot.
Neanderthals, Devonians, Australopithecus. Yeah, like
Homo erectus.
early proto-humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 20 to 25,000 BC, I think, if I remember correctly. We're looking at signs of emerging human intelligence in those kind of like proto-human.
Sorry, I know we
species.
keep like sidetracking, but like
That's
there
all right.
was
That's the whole podcast.
there was a thing that I saw, and it was like, I don't know if there was something before airplanes, but it was like, this happened, and then we made airplanes, and then like 60 years later, we were on the moon from the first flight and making airplane. No, there was something. There was something before that, because they were like, it was 100 and something years between that, and then there was only 60 years between the first flight and being on the moon. And I was like, that's actually mad.
That's what happens once you discover a new technology.
Yeah.
Like your research becomes exponentially like faster.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's mental. Like with computers, it's it's going.
Yeah. Like,
It's
that's
going.
the thing. Oh, maybe that was it. I don't remember. It was something else. But, like, people were still making, like, paper planes and shit like that. And now they're like, we can launch you into the Earth's atmosphere.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's insane the way that humans are able to exponentially develop technologies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet, here I am. Can't get a job.
I mean,
Well,
to be fair, I don't think there are
Yeah, I
many
have
people who
to,
can
but-
get a job at the moment. So,
Yeah.
you know.
When everything's, like, climbing so rapidly and you're still just here, like, cool.
chilling.
Yeah, we vibing.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so you're looking at about 10,000 BC for, like, the emergence of Homo sapiens.
Yes.
And, you know, like, what we would recognise as humans. Because, yeah, before that you've got Neanderthals and all your pre-human species.
Wait, you said 14th century BC.
Yes.
So that is, like, only what?
About 1,400 years.
Yeah,
well,
but that's
about
only...
about 1,600 years ago.
Yeah, but so that's only, like, what? 9,000 or 100?
About
100,000?
8,500 years.
Before
What's that?
humans.
Well, we see the first
After humans, sorry.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, we see our first human civilizations, like proper civilizations. Oh boy, I used to know this off the top of my head.
It would have been like Africa, like Egypt.
Yeah, I want to say like
We built the
5,000.
pyramids.
Because it was like they were in
BC?
Africa, like Egypt-ish, and they're like, "Yo, let's go east and north." I think they went east first.
Yeah.
Across the Middle East. I'm not quite sure. Or they went north.
It still
I
trips
remember.
me out that, like, Egypt is in Africa because they just seem, like, wildly different. Like, when you think Africa, you think, like, Saharas and, like... Which I guess, I mean, they still have in Egypt, but, like...
definitely is more like Middle Eastern kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Definitely, but
Yeah. So between 10,000 and 5,000 BC, we see agriculture starting to like be developed, which is where like agriculture we don't really like give that the recognition that it deserves for enabling humanity to like expand the way that it did, because we go from being hunter-gatherers to being able to produce our own food, which is insane when you think about it. And a lot of that is happening around like the Middle East kind of area, Mesopotamia, that area. There's an area called the Fertile Crescent where like it's in that kind of Middle East Holy Land kind of area.
I watched the year... Is it the Year Zero or something with Jack Black? The
I
caveman movie?
haven't seen it. It looked like trash.
It is. 100% is. But
Yeah.
it's like, it was actually quite funny because normally I don't watch movies like that, but it was actually quite funny.
Year One, that's what it was called.
Year One, yeah.
Ugh.
Because I don't normally like that like shit comedy or whatever either, but it was actually pretty good. There were a few parts where I laughed, and like it's not something I'd watch again to be like, oh yeah, it was a good movie, but like there were a few parts that would actually like pretty crack up.
Oh boy. Yeah, so it's around 4,000 BC that we start to see actual settlements develop and people like permanently settling in areas. Yeah. So we're going to about 1400 BC that we're seeing the first written records of
Would you settle
piracy.
or would you travel? So if they were like, we've built this boat, we're gonna just sail and see if we fall off the edge of the earth, would you sail or would you be like, nah, chief?
I mean, back then, probably explore. Like, life is comfortable now, but
Yeah.
back then,
But that's the thing. Back then, they used to still think the earth was flat. So if they were like, we may
I
sail
don't
off
think
the
they
edge of the
had
world.
even that much thought at that point.
Well, okay.
Well, no, you go back to like the even in the pre-classical Greek era, we see them performing basic experiments to like map their part of the world, and even thousands of years ago, they figured out that the Earth is, or our land is round, like it's not flat. So they figured that out. Yeah.
Okay.
Big brain.
Big brain.
And there are basic experiments that you can still do today to prove that.
I reckon people back then, like, without all the technology and shit like that we obviously have now, I reckon they were so much smarter than we are now. Like, I reckon if you grab millennials and chuck them back to that sort of time, we'd be useless.
It's a different kind of intelligence, though.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like with modern people have like unprecedented access to information through the internet and libraries and
But that's the thing, they're not
education
just like
and such.
smart. Whereas I feel like back then people were just like street smart, I guess you can
Survive.
call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had that survival instinct, whereas now we don't because we don't need it
I think
necessarily.
given enough time, you could figure it out. Given the education, we
we'd
have
probably
now.
die first.
Yeah, well,
If you dropped a millennial in the middle of the forest, they'd be like, I got no bars, bro. What the? Their first thing wouldn't be like, I need to find civilization. They'd be like,
I
That's
don't
the
know.
first
I don't
thing I would
know.
do.
that's the first thing I would do, but that's
millennial.
because I'm not like a full on like I need my cell phone to survive.
I think you could give, like, the way I would say it, if I went back, I could give vague enough information to, like, research and develop some modern technology. Like, I don't know, maybe iron was a thing, maybe, like, steel was a thing.
What, you're gonna treat it like Minecraft?
Yeah. I could probably give,
Three
like,
stick, make X.
I could probably find something in my brain and pull it out and give a vague definition and then get, like, monetary rights to, like,
I guess
or
so, yeah.
royalties to, like, that being developed. I could probably pull something, if
Yeah.
anything. There's gotta be one thing I could.
There's gotta be
Yeah.
one thing I can contribute.
Like, I wouldn't be able to make it, but I could find skilled people
Yeah.
and be like, yo, I got this idea, bro.
I'm just full of ideas. I'm the
Yeah.
idea man.
I could maybe just explain a steam engine in, like, very basic and, like, what it would do, and they'd be like, we'll figure it out from here. I'm like, right, I
Thanks.
get 10%, thanks.
Just don't kill me, please.
I think that's the way I would go about it, you know? I'd have the ideas, I would
Yeah.
have the skill, you know?
I guess so, but I mean, yeah, it depends what knowledge you'd go back with, I guess, because you couldn't just go back and start talking to them about cell phones.
No.
You're like, oh yeah,
Also
it
no
connects
language.
via.
It'd be a completely different language,
Yeah.
so it'd be fucked.
They'd be like, you sir, who goes there? And you go, yo, I need some help.
Yeah, it'd be a bit shit.
Whatever
probably.
do you mean?
Language would definitely be the hardest thing, I think.
You're like, please, I beg, just speak English.
Please. Figure out what English
Just not
is
what
like.
I'm speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, English, like, well, I could go on a whole tear about language. But yeah, I'm not gonna.
My
get
whole
into that.
thing is like, someone just like spoke one day and was like, these are words.
Yep.
Yes.
Like, how did they,
They probably
map
would,
that?
they probably would have just, like, made sounds first while pointing at shit.
Well, yeah.
And
It would be
then,
like teaching a baby how to speak,
it's
but
like, I guess that's what's that, and then, like, probably
one grunt, water, two
symbols
grunts, food.
symbols would have been associated with things first, like hieroglyphs and shit.
But that's what I'm saying, like building the alphabet and things like that. Like if someone's like, this is food. Like, if you say you've got two food items, right? Just say for...
Well, they wouldn't have just been like, this is food. There would have been precursor things to that. They wouldn't have just gone straight to food. There would
that's
have
the
been
thi-
stuff that came
And like
before
the
it.
funniest thing that like is like people finding food and things like that. Do you know how many people die just because they ate the wrong shit by accident?
Well, that's how you find out what things are safe to eat.
Like like berries and shit like
Yeah.
that, like poison and shit. Like,
Yeah.
could you imagine like a bunch of cave people? They're just going out one day and then
that's how it works.
someone eats some berries and they just die.
Yep.
So, oh,
Yep.
You're
and
like,
then-
oh, George is gone.
Yep, and then the rest of them know don't eat those berries.
Yeah,
Pretty
like,
much-
just word of mouth. They go past the
that
bit
is
like,
that is exactly what happened. Yeah.
and like
Oh, I
that,
mean, presumably.
it's so sad, but at the same time, like that's literally the only way you can find shit out.
yes.
Same with like science and things like even though it was so awful, the Nazi scientist that experiments on like twins and shit like that, he actually made some really good progress in like the medical field.
Oh,
It was horrific.
There is an insane amount of just like medical and scientific progress that came from Nazi experiments.
Yeah.
They
were absolutely
it's
horrific,
horrific, yeah.
but like,
Now we know.
yeah,
it's something I don't like thinking about a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly.
yeah. That's the thing. A lot of
Yeah.
the most horrific things actually bring so much knowledge. You're like, wow, wait.
Yeah, I don't like thinking about it.
I just
We have
wanna-
moved so far away from pirates.
Yeah, I want to know how they
Bro,
like
it's almost 40 minutes.
when you get
That'd be-
beheaded. Apparently, you're still conscious for like a good like 10 seconds or something afterwards. How do they know that?
Allegedly, yeah.
That's how?
Experiments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, pirates.
don't wanna think.
Let's get started.
Yeah, so
I don't think
14th,
we're gonna get
14th century
past
BC.
this.
All right, we're looking at a like seafaring a group of seafaring peoples who raided Egyptian settlements and like ships throughout the Mediterranean. A lot of this is going to be centered on the Mediterranean, around that North Africa, Europe kind of area, because that's where civilization was at the time.
Where there is trade, pretty much.
Exactly, and
Easy
I should
chickens.
probably I should probably say up front, there is a big difference between pirates and privateers. They are different.
What is a privateer?
So a pirate is to like give context to privateers. A pirate is simply someone who preys on vessels for like personal, monetary, financial gain, whatever. Yeah, we all know what a pirate is. Yeah. A privateer is someone who practices piracy under the banner of a government.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, they are given leave to,
explore, venture.
Not even that. Just like prey upon vessels that are,
hostile.
So going to the Caribbean era of piracy. The warring Dutch, Spanish, French, English governments, whatever, they would issue what are they called? Letters of marque. That's what they were called. To basically crews of vessels. They would issue them to the ship, and that would allow that vessel to legally prey upon vessels from those other countries. Like merchant vessels, that they were at war with.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's what a privateer is. Yeah. And so, sometimes, letters of marque would be given to already active pirates who would, then become legal privateers, and sometimes privateers would continue to, engage in piracy after their letters expired, and go from privateer to pirate. And sometimes people were just pirates, and sometimes they were just privateers, and there's a real crossover between the two. And sometimes privateers would even attack their own country's vessels, and be both privateers and pirates.
Oh, okay.
And just make sure that no one found out about it. So
great.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
And that's all Caribbean piracy kind of thing. But yeah, privateers have been a thing for the entire history of piracy. I will say. A lot of Asia, East and Southeast Asian piracy. A lot of that was done through privateering, and a lot of powers in those areas, like government and military powers, relied on privateers to help them keep their power.
Right.
And a lot of powerful settlements sprang up in that area, and basically were able to keep their power through engaging privateers in contracts. So, yeah.
Damn. That does not surprise me. Just any island archipelago area is just gonna
What?
Archipelago.
What is that?
It's like a chain of islands.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I haven't heard that word before. Why did you look so
Archipelago.
disgusted at me?
Really?
No.
What's a famous archipelago?
Hawaii. Hawaii is an archipelago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a chain of islands that form a thing.
Yeah.
What are your hands doing?
Is the Philippines technically?
I don't know.
There'll be areas within there, definitely.
Yeah.
There'll be so many archipelagos around there.
Yeah.
Are they technically? Because they're fucking big islands. I don't know. Do they technically count?
Don't know. I really
So
don't
what
know.
constitutes an island? Because we're still pretty small, but you say the North Island and South Island, but New Zealand itself isn't an island.
Well, we are.
Well, Hawaii is an island, but would you call Hawaii's not a
Hawaii
country?
is an island chain. Yes.
Yeah.
That's just because they're a state.
That's
why they're not a country, because they're a state.
Okay.
So they would be a country if they were
What
independent.
about Fiji?
Fiji is an independent country.
They are a country.
But they're still an
Or a
island.
nation, I think, is more.
Yeah, they're an island country.
They're an island nation.
That's what I'm saying. What constitutes an island?
I would assume
an individual mass of land.
There is a. Oh fuck! Okay. I think it has to have some form of habitable land. Has to be a certain elevation above sea level at high tide.
And it needs to be a certain size, because once you get down to
rock
a certain mass, you're looking at atolls and...
Because there are countries that try to claim that literally just rock formations sticking out of the ocean are islands within their lands, they can gain like more fishing rights.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like a huge thing. Like they fight over that shit so much.
Yeah.
So it's like
we're getting
what
into like
constitutes.
geopolitics.
It
It's
gets
like,
very confusing.
Yeah.
But generally, if it's got habitable land, a certain amount above sea level at high tide and big enough, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Because you could technically...
You know what? Let's settle
You could
this.
technically call Africa an island because the entire continent of Africa is surrounded by water, as with any sort of other landmass. So that's what I'm saying. How big does
But
it get
can
before it's no longer an island?
An island, or isle, is any piece of subcontinental land that is surrounded by water.
But Australia is...
Australia is technically a continent. Because it's that big.
But that's what I'm saying.
must be
It's
a
still
certain-
surrounded by
There
water.
must be
That's
a
what I'm saying.
certain
What
size that constitutes a
That's what I'm saying. What constitutes an island? Like, how big does it have to be before it's no longer an island? Because if it's just a landmass surrounded by water, that's literally most countries.
Well, yeah, but if they're in a continent, so I would assume it's once it reaches continental level, it's no longer an island. So you'd have like the UK, that's an island.
So certain parts of continents are recognised as subcontinents, especially the large peninsulas separated from the main continental landmass by geographical features.
What, so like Madagascar?
Not really.
That'd be an island. Surely.
Hang on. It's further on. So the most widely recognised example is the Indian subcontinent. In many of these cases, the subcontinents concerned are on different tectonic plates from the rest of the continent, providing a geological justification for the terminology. There we go. And Greenland is generally regarded as the world's largest island. Sometimes referred to as a subcontinent.
I feel like, is Greenland bigger than New Zealand?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
Greenland's
are
pretty
we
big.
an island?
Yes, we're definitely an island. Well, we're technically two islands.
That's what I'm saying. They say North Island, South Island, but you don't hear New Zealand referred to as an island per se.
We're an island nation because we've got islands in our country.
Yeah.
So
We've got
Technically we're
4,
three
5,
islands.
6, 7, 8. We've got 3 main because
Yeah.
North, South, Stewart, and then
Yeah, yeah.
there's other ones like
Chatham Islands.
Yeah.
We've got
Yeah. Oh, fuck. What are the other
Stewart Island.
ones? Something down south. I don't remember what it's
Waiheke,
called.
White Island.
Yeah.
You know, all those kind of Aucklandy
Yeah.
like thingies.
So we're technically just an island nation, really.
Ah.
But because like
But
our
then why are we not per whatever that word was?
subcontinent,
No, the upper
what?
the where we said
Archipelago?
that
Archipelago?
I don't know. Hang on. Here we go.
We're technically.
Archipelago.
This is a chain. I think they have to be quite close together. I don't know if 3 constitutes an archipelago. It
But
might
then
be
you've got
more.
So an
But then-
archipelago, sometimes called an island group or island chain, is a chain, cluster, or collection of islands, or sometimes a sea containing a small number of scattered islands.
so because we've got Waiheke and all that sort of shit,
Think.
we're technically an archipelago.
I don't think they would be close enough in proximity. Because generally archipelago islands are quite close together, I believe.
You know what?
Oh.
Let's just look up New Zealand and see how they classify us.
And we're like, technically, we used to be one full thing, so maybe. Because then
If
the
you're
fault
going by
lines-
that, then everyone used to
yeah.
be one full thing, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, recently.
Uh,
In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Recently.
New Zealand
one thing.
is an island country in the southwestern Pacific Ocean. It consists of 2 main land masses and over 700 smaller islands.
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry, what?
700. I mean, that makes sense. We have a large area of
Yeah,
claim.
but like, and yet we still get left off maps.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
Like, we can claim a lot of land, but we
Yeah.
don't because our military shit. Or navy. All of the above.
Yeah.
Technically, we might be
Are
able
we
to
an
claim like,
archipelago?
a lot of the Pacific.
I
but-
don't think so.
I
No.
want to be an archipelago, but we're an island.
think
Honestly,
I think our land masses would have to be small to be considered archipelago, I think.
yeah, that would make sense. So that would make more sense. But
Yeah.
you know what? I'm happy with being an island nation now. I feel like I'm exotic or some shit.
Technically,
Alright.
we are.
I mean, yeah,
Should we keep talking about pirates?
yes.
Sure.
Do you not feel
my
more
God.
exotic being like, I live on an island?
It's 10 to 3.
Yeah.
Let's
Rough.
do this
I'm
then.
so sorry.
Oh my god.
We'll be fine. We can literally leave at
Do we-
like 3:30. It would still make it.
do
Yeah,
we need to do a sequel episode for this?
Probably. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let's just keep going.
I just like getting sidetracked because that's where all the fun information comes out.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, you know what? Where is this train of thought going?
Archipelagos.
All right.
And it
So
gets the
yeah.
brain cogs moving.
So,
Brain cogs.
hey?
I said it gets the brain cogs moving.
Yeah. So, for the, third, fourth time, we're talking about the 4th century BC.
Yes.
A group of seafaring peoples, excuse me, generally referred to as the Sea People, and they're generally
Mermaids.
thought to, well, they used boats.
Yeah.
Generally
It's
thought to
raining.
have originated in the Aegean Sea kind of area, so around like Greece
Yep.
and that kind of
They're
southern
pulling
European.
up in the triremes.
Yeah, and they
Triremes?
mostly. Are you all right there?
How do you say trireme?
Trireme.
Trireme?
Yes.
Trireme.
I don't know what you're on about.
Tri-
I'm
Oh,
so
you're
small and
dumb.
Um,
Sorry. That was rude.
Triple masted. Yes.
I don't think they're always triple masted.
Okay. Did it refer to the masts or the hulls? Oh boy.
Hulls?
Okay. Here we go.
Hulls, I think?
Trireme.
See,
Let's
now
go.
it's not me sidetracking everything. Mind you, this is still on the topic of
How
pirates,
long have
but-
we been recording? 51 minutes. Okay. Okay. No. It refers to the number of oars.
Oh.
So a trireme had 3 banks of oars, whereas a bireme only had
3 banks.
only had 2 banks of oars. So the
Yeah,
1,
tried
2,
by.
3, like
Ooh,
decks.
Right,
3
decks.
decks. 3
I'm
decks
like,
of
what do
oars.
you mean? How are you getting
Yes.
3 on the different sides? I'm like, what? But yeah,
Yeah,
no, that makes sense.
Nothing to do with the
Yo,
sails. Or it's a single hold.
I'm
Could you
not gonna
imagine
say that.
sleeping on one of those ships, though? Like, the rocking? Bro, no.
I know if you
That'd be
would,
alright.
because they're mostly powered by slaves. Yeah.
In
I
a lot
think.
of cases, yeah.
Majority.
And we'll
of
get to
cases.
that. We will get to that. So, yeah, these sea people mostly raided Egyptian settlements and ships just like out in the Mediterranean.
I'm gonna close the window.
The rain is starting to get very loud. I don't know if it'll like pick up on the recording.
Why are
but,
you
yeah.
cracking like an old man? What's crack-a-lackin'? My bones, my guy.
Oh boy. So from there we move to pre-classical Greece. The classical Grecian period being between the 5th and 4th century BC. So pre-classical Greece, they mostly considered piracy to be a legitimate occupation.
Yeah.
And it was in a lot of places considered an honourable profession. Not so much from a modern perspective, because it helped to like normalize the slavery of women and children, amongst other things.
That sounds about
Yeah,
right.
piracy not great.
Not
But
fun.
yeah, in that society it was considered normal.
Well, I mean, it's like Somalia nowadays. Like
We'll get to
it's
that.
considered pretty normal there.
We'll get to Somalian piracy, hopefully.
Not today.
I am going to race through this.
Yes. I will shut.
Holy shit. So classical Greece, we're looking at the 5th, 4th century BC, and that covers the period roughly around the Greco-Persian Wars, your Sparta 300 kind of era, moving through the Peloponnesian Wars between Athens and Sparta. That was between the Delian League and the Peloponnesian League, and that's like the different like
Factions.
areas of Greece and the Aegean were either sided with Athens or Sparta. There's a whole conflict going on there. And then through to the death of Alexander the Great. That's generally considered the classical period. And that's what a lot of people are familiar with in Greek history, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'd say.
Also, fun fact, Greek generally refers to describing the country itself or like things from the country, whereas Grecian generally refers to the people.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how I understand it. I could be completely wrong, but that's just what I've heard.
Panic.
And yeah, by the time you get to classical Greece, so around the 5th century BC, piracy has started to be considered like a disgraceful profession. Like they don't like pirates now.
Yeah.
Compared to before that.
That's fair.
Yeah, and moving on from that, around the 3rd century BC, we get to seeing what we call Illyrian Pirates, and they were kind of like, I think they were from those kind of Slavic areas around the
for like the Black Sea or like the Baltics.
yeah, well, more like the Adriatic, which is that ocean
Adriatic.
between Italy and the
Oh,
Slavic
okay.
countries, like Czechoslovakia, that kind of area. Yeah, so Italy comes down,
Right, sorry, yes,
and then between
yes.
the eastern
Yes.
coast
I'm
that
following now. Yeah.
like western Slavic coast, you have the Adriatic.
What country is there now? I don't remember.
What do you mean?
It used to be like Yugoslavia, but now.
Well, it's all those like Slavic countries or the southern Slavic countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got
What used to be
the
Yugoslavia?
Czech Republic, Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania kind of. Well,
yeah.
Bulgaria, Romania is
They're
kind of
on the
like
right.
more
They're on the
northern.
Black Sea side.
This is turning into
Sorry,
like a geography discussion.
European geography is a mess.
But yeah,
My God.
around there, I didn't have like specific dates for when, because they weren't really operating, concurrently with each other. But around that time frame, that like 600-year time frame, you've got Illyrian pirates and pirates from various Germanic peoples. The Saxons, the Franks.
So
all those kind of
feudalism
people.
started, and feudalism did not like pirates. Is that pretty much where we're going?
Not really.
No,
Um,
because
You're wrong.
nobles definitely would not like pirates.
So yeah, you've got the Illyrians operating in the Adriatic,
Aristocracy.
and then these various Germanic pirates operating around the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara, and those, the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara are the two bodies of water that are connected by the Bosphorus that
The
cuts
Black
through
Pearl.
Istanbul.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
kind of that area. And fun thing about the Illyrian pirates is in 75 BC, Julius Caesar was kidnapped by them and held for a period of time. He was crossing the Aegean on some kind of diplomatic journey. I don't know, but yeah, he was captured by pirates. Caesar
Really?
was, yeah,
Impressive.
and I'd never heard that before.
sake.
I
How were
started
the months
researching this.
divided before he added in July and August? Was it
That's
still?
the Julian calendar? So before that, we had the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah, was it still divided in 365 days and the months were all just longer, or?
Oh boy, like the
feel like there was like
calendar has
Because he added July and August after him and
Some
his
reason my
brother.
brain's like there's
no,
like a
the
20-day
Gregorian calendar was later.
shit.
The various calendars used around the world have changed so many times. It's just I have no idea. I really don't.
Bro, they must have been just like, look, it's day now, it's night now, deal with it.
I mean,
It's cold, it's hot.
like
Yeah.
a lot of early calendars would have been mostly used for agriculture.
And that's
Like,
the thing, with
yeah.
like,
knowing
okay,
when
so
the best time to plant and
Yeah.
harvest and all that was, when the floods came.
So
Yeah.
with like going back to like BC and all that sort of stuff, are we dividing those years based on our current calendar? Because technically,
I would
how those
assume
calendars
so.
change would change those years. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think.
So we're dividing that up based on our current calendar.
Yes, I think a lot of modern historical dating is based on a contemporary.
Well,
calendar.
you'd want everything to be consistent, whether it
Yeah.
was historically accurate or not. I would assume they would mention by our calendar standard, and then be like, additionally, this by
Yeah.
their calendar. It would be
I would
this.
imagine once you get into properly studying that, you would be also using the
In conjunction.
contemporary.
History is whack,
methods of
man.
Timekeeping.
Because, like, my whole thing is, like, how did they know? Because, like, okay, when you're taking notes for something, right, you never know it's going to be important until, like, a couple years later, you're like, oh, yeah, shit, that was important. So, like, they wouldn't be documenting their calendars and shit like that, because they were just like, this is just life.
No, well, actually, I have an anecdote about that.
Yeah.
Is that, like, the journals and diaries kept by regular people are some of the most prized by historians. Because, you have, let's say going back to the classical Greek period, you have these records by, historians like Herodotus, of the Greco-Persian Wars and, all this history that was happening at the time. But, those prominent figures aren't really recording the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
Of these people, and there's
There would probably be a lot of bias as well, I would assume.
yeah,
In
definitely,
historical facts.
definitely. Hey,
Yeah. The normal people would just be like, yeah, this is what happened, bro.
Yeah.
And even when you start thinking about how much is lost to history just through people not recording it because
It's
it
not
was-
important when you're living it.
yeah,
It's
and
only
like,
important after the fact.
and like after the whoever wins a war, gets to write the history, and how much of the other side's perspective is lost because they didn't bother recording it because we won, we don't care about you, screw you. But there's back in the, I want to say the 19th century, so the 1800s, there was, and this is like getting into like real minute details, but place settings for meals. There were, I think it was like 1800s England. There were traditionally 3 spices that were like set out on tables for meals. There was salt, pepper, and we have no fucking clue what the third one was because nobody wrote it down.
Bro,
we have evidence that these three condiments were put out on tables for meals, but no one knows what the third one is because no one wrote it down. We have no record of it. Isn't that insane?
I can't even think of
but
what it
there's
would be.
evidence that there were definitely 3.
Yes, and it might be earlier than that, but that's when I remember that being.
That drives me nuts. I'm like, that's
yeah,
not the
I
spices.
know, right?
Surely there's some strong contenders though for what it could have been.
Probably, I'd imagine there are.
agricultural
I'd imagine
trade.
there are some like.
I feel like it'd be
pretty
some sort of
educated
mixed
guesses,
herb
but-
or something like that. Like,
Depending
maybe-
on trade, was the
like
British
dry
Empire
herb
very
or-
large then?
Was
Yes. The British Empire was very large then, correct?
Yes.
Surely
Yes,
it would have
yes,
been like
was.
an Indian spice.
Possibly. I mean,
Yeah.
personally,
Paprika?
my bias is towards like onion powder or something.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know when that was invented. I don't know like what its prevalence was. I mean, it's a super useful spice. I use it in a lot of things, but
Yeah.
we just don't know. Next minute, it turns out it's MSG.
Sure.
MSG is
Bro.
great. I love MSG. But yeah, moving on
Miracle.
from the Germanic pirates, in the 5th century AD, we start to see Irish pirates turning up.
the lack of the Irish.
And one of the things that they are most known for is kidnapping a 16-year-old St. Patrick.
I thought you were going to say
Yeah.
leprechaun, I'm not going to lie.
A what?
I thought you were going to say leprechaun, and I was like, no.
No. St. Patrick, like before he converted, because St. Patrick was not Irish. He was born in England. Okay.
It's all a lie.
Common misconception. No, he's the missionary who brought Christianity to Ireland, and I think we can all see how that turned out. Ireland was a deeply Catholic country and still is, and only recently are they moving towards a more secular society. But yeah, he was kidnapped at 16 by pirates and Irish pirates and held in captivity for like 6 years. And
Jesus.
it was during that time that he began to convert to Christianity. Yeah. So
Huh.
that's
I will
kind of
convert you.
Well, it's kind of.
Why did they kill him? Did they know who he was? Was he famous at 16, or was he just
no,
a...
no? He was just like a peasant kid. So,
Yeah. So why'd they keep him alive?
I don't know.
Slave labor.
I don't know about St.
Yeah,
Patrick.
true.
Probably. Yeah, and then moving into the
Imagine getting
8th
a
century.
whole day dedicated to you.
where people will get
Yeah.
absolutely shit-faced and completely forget the
That you're not
cultural-
Irish.
the cultural meaning behind
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Ah, it's fine.
history. But
History, woo!
moving from there into the 8th century, guess who starts to show up?
Jesus.
No.
What?
I know.
The 8th century AD, 800 years after his death, he
Yeah.
shows up again.
Yeah.
No, come on, tell me
Okay.
who starts to show up in the 8th century?
Bro, I have
Talk,
absolutely...
talking about pirates. No, Romans are
Roman pirates?
already gone.
The Romans
Well-
already got. No, the Romans are still around. Surely,
I mean, the Roman Empire is not like really a thing anymore.
it's like a multiple.
Well,
yes, no.
You're talking to the wrong... Look, I know nothing about history, but I'm going to give a wild guess and say it's something towards the Caribbean
no,
pirates.
no,
I want
we're still way too early for that.
Okay, I don't know.
No?
Tell me.
Motherfucking Vikings, baby!
Oh, right.
Yay.
Of course. Jesus Christ. Literally.
This be where the Vikings show up. I don't know
Get
why
the
we're not Irish for a second. but-
bagpipes. Get the bagpipes going.
Bagpipes?
Yeah.
What?
Why not?
All right. Sure. Bagpipes for the Vikings.
Why
Whatever.
not?
Pipes. What is wrong with you?
I just want them. Bro,
All right.
I
bagpipes
think
are
you
sick.
forgot what instrument country they were affiliated with. I think that's what you just did.
No,
wait.
and when I first said it, yeah, but then I clicked and I was like, you know what? Get them anyway.
Okay, so the Vikings, not generally thought of as, pirates.
Oh,
Because when
bro.
you well, I think most people, when they think about pirates, think about the golden age of piracy and Caribbean pirates. But the Vikings were fucking everywhere in Europe.
Rats.
Like they raided the Baltic Sea. They were all around the Mediterranean. You know, they went over to
Why are Vikings
England
seen as like fucking humongous like men? Like they're like gods among men. Like why? Were they all just like really burly, or
No, they were just like regular people? But
yeah,
but it was because it was the warriors that people were seeing. You know, okay, so Viking is not a word for, you know, the people in general. Going a Viking was to go raiding. So when people say Vikings, they're generally referring to those Scandinavian peoples, but that's not what Vikings were. You know, the people going a Viking were the raiders who were going out to, you know,
There is a
raid
proper
settlements
name for them. I
and
just don't
ships.
remember
And,
what it is.
yeah. I don't know, so
It's somewhere in my head.
it's
but I
it's
can't
a
remember.
common misconception. But yeah, Vikings were everywhere in terms of that. Like they were exploring and raiding like the rivers all through inland Europe to, you know, raid like river settlements. They
if I
make
could get
they
the
made
drum going, would that be better? The big bass drums.
yeah, they were all around the Mediterranean. They made it as far as the Black Sea and Persia. Like
Jesus.
they were super widespread. And, you know,
They were like, we're gonna do what you do, but better.
they even went over to America, like before it was America.
Oh.
You know, and they called it Vinland. So you've probably heard of Vinland. That was their name for North America, and it was like up in that kind of Canadian, like
Not
Nova
Quebec.
Scotia kind of area.
Nova Scotia.
You know, so not like America, like USA as we think of it, but North America,
Yeah.
that continent. Yeah, so still pretty far north, but yeah, Vikings in America.
Hell yeah.
Way
Sounds
way
like
before,
a sick movie.
way before the other Europeans found it.
Pretty sure it's
I mean,
anime,
probably,
but-
yeah.
Wait, really?
I think
Yeah, it's called Vinland Saga. So I would assume it's
Oh, yeah,
about
that's right.
that.
Oh,
I think they were mostly
Never
chased off
watched
by
it.
the native peoples, but yeah.
If I can't-
Yeah, so the Vikings are everywhere, mostly between the 8th and 12th century AD. And also around this time, between the 9th and 14th century, we have Moorish pirates. And the Moors they originated as the native peoples of kind of like northwestern Africa. So we're talking like Algeria, Tunisia, Libya kind of area. And they were... The proper name for those peoples was the Berbers. Moor was a name used by European Christians to refer to the kind of like descendants of those people who settled still in North Africa, but also on the Iberian Peninsula, which would later become Spain, and like northern Italy, southern France kind of area. They also use the word Moor to refer to, like, you know, kind of Arabs, Muslims, you know, anyone who wasn't like white European.
Right.
So I guess it's kind of a racist term, but it's not really in use today, so
Yeah.
we can still say it. And like using it in a historical context like that, I think is, you know, completely fine.
yeah.
But yeah, so there were a lot of Moorish settlements and like pirate havens in southern France and northern Italy. And yeah, they just operated out of there in the Mediterranean, you know, just being pirates. that's where a lot of this breaks down to, like, they were just in this area being pirates, you know.
Stealing.
Yeah, raiding merchant ships, taking slaves, kind of thing. Which takes us to the Barbary Corsairs, which next to the
Barbary
Caribbean pirates, next to the Caribbean pirates, are probably the most widespread and successful of the, well, I say successful, most widespread or well known of the like pirate eras.
I mean, I've definitely heard Barbary Coast before, so...
Yeah,
Can you imagine being a
where-
pirate though, like stuck on a ship for like literally months at a time, just hoping to find like something?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you were probably like patrolling around the trade routes, you know, of that time, or around.
No, but like the explorers and things like that, or they're just like hoping
Oh.
to find like land. You're literally there. You're like, look, we're packing for like 2 to 8 months. We could be
Maybe
here
more than that.
for It's like
You got to imagine, you know, these were guys who knew what they were doing. Like, they were experienced sailors. They knew how to navigate. They knew how to read signs of, you know, just like in nature.
yeah.
I think they would have a pretty good idea. And it's like, it's not difficult, you just go where there is nothing, as far as you know.
Yeah.
And you hope to find something.
But that's the thing. And then once you get to that something, there could be nothing there. Like, it could be dead.
Yeah.
And you're just like...
but like that's
great.
that's the risk you
Find
take.
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Barbary Corsairs, they were active like through most of this period up until the 19th century. So was that the 1800s?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was the 1830s. They were finally stamped out by the French Navy. And like other countries, but mostly the French Navy.
Yeah.
So they operated for centuries, and the Barbary Coast is the kind of still that northwestern area of Africa.
Yeah.
Algeria, Tunisia kind of area. Same as where the Moorish people came from. And
I would assume like extended more south as well.
kind of around the coast there. It's like not towards Egypt, but more around like the round bit of Africa.
Because I would assume that would be quite a good interception point.
Yeah, well, you've
boats
got,
coming out of the Mediterranean through Gibraltar.
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah, definitely.
hey.
And that's something that you see in like pretty much every pirate culture. I use the word culture loosely, but like you always see pirates around, the choke points in trade routes. And, anywhere that there is wealth to be found, you will find pirates. Wealth and generally former naval people, experienced in sea combat and navigation. Like, that's
like a whole other skill, man. Like,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because when you think of ships, they don't move like that fast, but I mean they move fast enough, obviously, in like open sea and things like that.
Compared to modern vessels, yeah, definitely not. But
the Somalian Pirates just pull up on cargo ships on like the tiniest boats possible.
Yeah, and you're just like
literally just a single thing, and just
and we will talk about that very briefly. But yeah,
we will need to be wrapping it up.
Yes. So the Barbary Corsairs were mostly interested in taking slaves. Because for a lot of that period, there was a booming slave trade in a lot of the Arab and Muslim countries.
So they didn't even keep them for labour; they just traded them off.
I mean, yeah, they would probably trade it off for slave labour, yeah. But no, the slave trade, like around the Eastern Mediterranean, was massive because you have not only like the Holy Land right there, you've got Muslim Emirates in like Crete and Sicily, and it's all through there. There's a slave trade, like.
Yeah,
it was massive in that time period, and then the Pan American slave trade, but we're not going to go into that. Yeah, it's a thing, and a lot of them also acted as privateers for the Muslim states in that area. And among the Barbary Corsairs, you find a lot of Jewish pirates. Mostly, there's a whole history of like religious persecution around Iberia and France in that time. Long story short, a lot of Jewish peoples were kicked out of Iberia by various governments and either navigated their way to the New World or became pirates with the Barbaries. And Sinan Reyes is a name you might have heard. He sailed under Barbarossa, who was like one of the most famous corsairs.
Yeah.
He was a Muslim pirate. Yeah.
Barbarossa.
Yeah, and then like all throughout this time, we also have piracy in East and Southeast Asia. Again, a lot of it is mostly slavery. Well, in Southeast Asia, it is. There's a lot of it is slavery, and also some privateers. But also around the Malacca Strait, which is between Indonesia and Malaysia, I want to say, and it's in the last couple hundred years, it's been a major trade route between India and China. So especially once European explorers began coming through and staking a claim in that area and getting on the spice trade from India, and then China, you've got like silk and whatever coming through there. Yeah, super busy trade route. That's generally where those pirates were, based. And yeah, also East Asia, around China, Japan, Korea kind of area. They were mostly focused on trade, less on slavery. Like, still some slavery, but mostly trade. Because,
I think Korea got the most of it.
Yeah,
I think Japan went against Korea a lot.
Yeah,
They did not like
I don't know
them.
I don't know a lot of that history, so...
Korea just sucked. They fought a lot,
Oh, dear.
especially amongst themselves.
Yeah, North and South.
Also a lot of smugglers in East Asia,
Smugglers.
which is interesting.
Smuggle buggle.
And yeah, also a lot of privateers used by various powers in that area. And then we come to Caribbean piracy, which was active, generally occurred between the 16th and 19th century. So there's a few hundred years in there, and still until fairly recently. But the golden age of piracy, which is what a lot of media focuses on, was only between the 1660s and the 1730s.
Oh.
So only about 70 years. But they get a lot out of it.
Oh yeah.
So, was Jack Sparrow an actual person?
No.
Oh, right.
No. I'm trying to think. No. There's a lot of historical pirates who have been the focus of, pop culture.
I was about to say that he probably was like an amalgamation of other stories. Maybe. It could be completely made up, but like...
I don't actually know.
Yeah.
I haven't known anything about it, so...
I mean, that whole movie franchise is based on the Disney ride, so probably...
Was based on the Disney ride?
Yes. Pirates of the Caribbean was based on a Disneyland ride. Disneyland, Disney... I don't know which part it was.
I thought it was vice versa.
Nope. They
The original script was kind of just like a throwaway script, wasn't it? Or like some sort of random prompt, wasn't it? And then they were like, yeah, let's go.
Well, they took... it was based on the ride. Like, that was an intellectual property that they had that they could turn into a movie. Yeah. And it has the first movie has a lot of similarities with the video game Monkey Island. So there's a bit of controversy around that. But yeah, it was just completely based on the ride. And then obviously in recent years they've started doing that a lot more with, like Jungle Cruise, Tomorrowland, that kind of thing. Yeah. But just generally not reaching the same kind of success.
Yeah.
No.
But Caribbean piracy, again, that axiom, where there's wealth, there's pirates. Began with the Spanish, trading gold and silver out of Central and Southern America.
Could you imagine if we still traded with like actual gold and silver pieces?
That'd be awesome.
Bro, I would love that. Yeah. I would love that so much, especially but the value of gold and silver appreciates, so...
Yeah, it would wreak havoc on the economy probably, but it'd be cool. So we have the gold and silver that the Spanish are bringing out of Central America, especially, Mexico, that kind of area. And then going through, we've got the tobacco, sugar trades, slaves, and then the English, Dutch, French, Spanish, all vying for power in that area. And then we come to the American Revolutionary War, and, just all through that period, you've got pirates preying on these trade routes.
Yeah.
And, you get pirate strongholds popping up, like Port Royal, Nassau. There's another one that I forget, Tortuga. Just
chilling.
Like, and it's exactly what you'd think. It's just pirates, as you see them in pop culture.
It's really just pirates.
Yeah. And then that all continues through to like the 1800s, and then in more recent years we have the Somalian Pirates.
Yeah.
Which is again
chilling on the Suez almost.
Where there's wealth, there's pirates. Yeah. Well, they're out in the
So pirates are still technically a thing now, obviously in no sort of advanced scale. But like, I feel like if I saw a bunch of people on a ship like now, I'd be like, like it's not something that like
the Somalian pirates just get in a small boat and they'll make a beeline for cargo ships, and then they also have like motherships or whatever where they like deploy the smaller ships from.
Yeah,
it's really weird. Like they literally train people in piracy.
So what's interesting about Somalia is like between like its geographic location and its recent history, it has like all of the perfect ingredients to be just a breeding ground for pirates, because they had a pretty brutal civil war, I think, back in the 90s through the early 2000s. So you've got military veterans, people who are handy with weapons. You've got a thriving fishing industry. Like, that's one of their main kind of, occupations that you can have, because there's a lot of coastal settlements. You've got proximity to one of the most used trade routes in the world. Like, you've got...
I think it is the first, biggest, the most ships go through there,
it's something like... It's something like 30% of all the world's oil comes out of, that area in the... oh boy, what is it? It's the Red Sea. Yeah, like in that area, and then through the Strait of Hormuz, which is a fascinating topic on its own. There's a YouTube channel called Real Life Law, which is he's done a few videos on the Strait of Hormuz and like that kind of area around there. But basically, it's a real narrow stretch of water, which is it's only like a few dozen kilometers across, and there's like 2 or 3 trade routes that go through there, and it's all oil coming in and out of the Gulf of Oman, I think it is. I could be wrong.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, basically bringing oil in and out, and yeah, it's insane. But yeah, and then it comes out into the ocean, basically right past Somalia.
The pirates are like, yo, home, about to steal your shit.
Yeah, pretty much. You've got people who know how to use weapons, who have military experience. You got fishermen who know the waters, who are good at navigating. You've got wealth coming in and out of this area. It's just a perfect
breeding ground,
mishmash of characteristics that just breed piracy. And yeah, like you were saying, that's exactly what they do. They have like fishing vessels which act as, for want of a better word, motherships.
They got decoys as well. Like, they know what they're doing.
Yep, they have. They have those.
They're like,
those
this
little...
is a job path.
Yeah, because they lure out warships and whatnot, because there are warships that patrol that area from like Britain and America, that kind of shit. And they literally just use decoy ships to make the warship go there, and they'll go to like a different boat.
Bro,
it's like, fuck.
Yeah. So they'll like they'll send out 1 or 2 They've got like speedboats, like little dinghies with super powerful motors. They can get up to like 25 knots or something.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
nuts.
fast.
And they use small arms fire to like force these cargo ships to slow down and let them board. And they chuck ladders up and they try to take control of the bridge. And yeah, a lot of the time it's more going for like ransom targets than the actual goods on board. But yeah, that's generally how they operate. They have a lot of ex-Soviet weaponry, just because that's like where it's come through to the ports where they trade for it. A lot of like AK platform weapons, RPGs, Tokarev handguns, Soviet grenades. And then there's actually so.
We have to head out.
Yes, I know. So I'll just finish on a couple of points. There's a lot of coastal communities in Somalia that have actually had major economic boons, like from pirates coming in and spending their money.
Yeah.
And it's just a really weird relationship that the country has with them, because they're actively trying to stamp it out, but they've also been kind of good for their coastal economy. But piracy in that area has like taken a severe decline, like through the mid 2000s, like the mid aughts through like 2011 was like the golden age of Somali piracy, kind of. It really peaked around 2008 to 2011, and then from there it's just like steadily declined. Where I think 2017 was the last time that we saw like a proper pirate takeover of a vessel.
Damn.
And even then, they initially demanded a ransom, but then let the crew and the ship go when they learned that it had been hired by a Somali businessman. So it was like...
They're like, alright,
okay.
cool.
Like, shit.
Yeah, but we're really not... I really do not mean to glorify any of this.
It's interesting.
Piracy is horrible. Like, don't do it. It's... if you're in a position to, don't... don't glorify criminals in general, I guess.
It's interesting to learn as a historic fact. Other than that, it's just leave it in the past.
Definitely. And that's a general history of pirates.
Very cool.
We
Mostly.
spoke for an
Amongst other things.
hour and 24. Dude, I was like,
Yeah.
panic. We're getting close. But anyway, sorry. Yeah, we have to catch a movie.
All right,
and I'm
yes,
very
you
excited
do have
about
to go. So, cool.
gonna
This
watch
has
a
been the
movie.
ZeroFunction Podcast. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at ZeroFunction Pod. We're working on Spotify uploads. I think most of it's up there.
Funny.
And
I
any
think it's my
parting
week.
words?
It's my week next week.
No,
isn't
Yes,
it?
it
really.
is.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but we'll do. Oh, I'm not here next week. I'm
Oh,
not
that's
here
right.
next week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
figure something
So
out.
we skip
Maybe we can do the cheeseburger video.
Do it. Do it.
You'll find out all about that now that I've mentioned it. We have to do it.
Anyway, peace.
Bye.
Bye.